For those of us who might be considered artistically challenged, we understand the struggle of drawing. But just imagine having to draw backwards. In our next story, Miranda Cohen meets a Nashville artist who is perfecting one of the most challenging and ancient forms of artistic expression.
Seay is a young artist who has mastered one of the oldest forms of art. Relief printmaking dates way back to the ancient hieroglyphics found on walls, well before the invention of papyrus.
Relief means the mirror image. All right, so when I carve, I'm carving the image backwards to print the relief, okay? So basically, the relief is a term in the printmaking world for mirror image. It began in Africa, all right? So if you think about Africa, Rome, all of those stone tablets, those are called reliefs. So there's that word again, right? So it's a stone relief. Some of the oldest texts in the world were carved into stone, right? Now at this time, they didn't have paper. So when paper was invented, now we had a way to print on the paper, on the fabric. And so it really got popular in China and Africa because they started printing on paper and fabric.
Even as a young artist, Ashley knew her medium would be a little different, and luckily her family encouraged her talent.
I used to draw on the walls. My mother was mad because then I was drawing on the furniture. Seriously, I was drawing on everything that had a surface. And my grandmother, she saved me because she was like, don't discipline her for that. She's, she has talent. So buy her coloring books, buy her, crayons and stuff like that, embrace that gift.
As a native of Lebanon and a graduate of MTSU, studio art held her attention for a while until she learned of the challenging and intricately detailed art form called print relief.
It's something new, never heard of it before. So I took the class and I just loved it. But it was 8 hours a day for a month. So for 8 hours, I was carving.
First, she will begin with a sketch, then transfer the sketch onto a block of sturdy wood like birch. Then she will begin the tedious task of carving out all the negative space, ensuring a clean and precise print block.
Ashley's work is absolutely phenomenal, but you have to remember she is always working in the negative. What she is doing is cutting away the negative space. So anything that is left is actually the print. And anytime you see lettering, she has to carve it backwards.
I'm going to carve out the negative space. So that's what you're doing. You're carving out the negative space. And what you're doing is you're leaving a stamp. So it's really cool. I know it sounds crazy, but it really does work. It's very, very meditative because you have to take your time. This is not an art form that you rush. Because if you rush, then you make mistakes that you cannot put back into the block. So it forces you to be one with yourself and to take your time.
Because Ashley uses extremely sharp tools and is always carving a reverse image to be applied to her canvas, she has to have a steady hand and a very calm spirit.
You have to be completely at peace. Once I carve this, that's it. I can't put the wood back. I have to always keep in mind the end result of what the print is going to look like in my mind, because the moment that you let that go, it's over. And you gotta start over.
The meticulously carved wooden stamp will then be inked and pressed into paper or cloth.
So usually I just start with the center. And this is the Rise of the North print. inspired by the tornado.
By creating a one-of-a-kind wooden block, she is able to tell a story through the grooves, density, and natural grains of the wood, depending on the thickness of the ink and the pressure applied. No two pieces are ever alike, and her work reflects what she treasures the most.
Well, I love nature, so I love being out in the woods, around water. I spend a lot of time with my family and friends, but also my cultural background. I love to incorporate all these little details into the art, but I have a special affinity for pattern design.
Seay also wants her work to have a message and to bring awareness to cultural issues. An ancient art form reflecting modern-day events. Her Nashville shop is called Supernatural Relief Printmaking Studio, a nod to her own spirituality and fondness of science, astrology, and engineering. Ashley Seay is achieving her goals one at a time. First, having her own studio, winning multiple awards, and then drawing national attention to her work by featuring her pieces at acclaimed galleries like the Frisk Art Museum. She is also offering workshops and trying to create more interest in this ancient and beautiful form of expression.
It was a way for me to share my art form without having to really part with it. I put that all into the art, but it's for a reason though, because I want people to look at it and have their own interpretation for the art. It's abstract, and it depends on who's looking at it. And I love that because everyone can look at it and find something special in it.